I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. I went to parochial grammar school and to John Carroll High School, and I was the oldest of 5 children. I always wanted to attend the University of Alabama. I'd actually never applied anywhere else. I got a degree in marketing in 1974. I learned a lot from my dad, just particularly sitting around the dinner table at night. He would talk about his experiences that day and people he came in contact with. He was a stickler for details. My dad had a tremendous memory. Anything he said was a teaching moment. One thing he always impressed upon me was the importance of customer service. I really realized the meaning of that when I began working. My first job was sacking groceries when I was 14 years old. As I got older in college, I worked during the summers. I worked in the advertising department and the buying department. And then when I got to college, I became a grocery buyer. And that was a great experience, and learned a heck of a lot about all different aspects of the business. And I worked my way up through the ranks in the company over the years to eventually become chairman and CEO.
What Ronnie brought to the company as a leader was the determination to reach excellence. I was a vendor, he was a customer, but he expected the best out of you and to make sure that you did your best job for his company, and he expected that same of his company and the people in his company.
We had about a dozen stores in the mid-60s when I first started working, and eventually Bruno's grew to a very large company. We had over 25,000 employees. We operated 250 stores in 5 southeastern states, and our sales were approaching $3 billion a year. I became chairman and CEO of Bruno's in the summer of 1991. Later that year, we had a very tragic accident when our company plane went down, and we lost lots of valued souls that day. Earlier that year, we decided to become the title sponsor of a golf tournament in Birmingham. After the plane crash, we renamed the tournament from the Bruno's Classic to the Bruno's Memorial Classic,
which is now the region's tradition, has raised over $20 million for charity. A couple of times it was named as the best tournament in the PGA.
After we sold Bruno's, I was not quite ready to retire, so I partnered with Gene Hallman to form Bruno Event Team.
Roy Kramer, the commissioner of the SEC, had called about us running the SEC baseball tournament. The organizers of Olympic soccer here in Birmingham had called and said, we need some help. And then Jimmy Lee from Buffalo Rock had started a senior PGA Tour event in Pensacola and wanted a management team. He saw the vision. He said, let's do it. Bruno Event Team was formed in 1995, and we're still in business.
After the support of my church, United Way is very important to me, along with the University of Alabama and also St. Vincent's Hospital Foundation. Along with being chairman of Bruno's, I was involved with the Russell Corporation and served on their board until it was sold to Berkshire Hathaway. And I also served on South Trust Bank Board until the corporation was sold to Wachovia. And also Books A Million Board. I served there from the time they went public until the time the family took it back private. And all those companies were extremely important to me, but my service on the Books A Million Board and being associated with the Anderson family was particularly meaningful to me. I have been blessed to have a wonderful family. My wife, Leanne, we've been married for 40 years, and she has been extremely supportive of my business career. And we have one son, Gregory, who lives in New York, and who we're very proud of, is making his way in the business world in New York.
My father's been an inspiration for everything that I've done in my professional career and adult life. I think the most important thing that my father has taught me is that it's okay to be the quietest person in the room sometimes, because often that can be perceived as the most effective form of communication. I don't think anybody would mistake my father for being the life of the party. And I think he'd be okay with that.
He's been like a brother to me in a lot of ways, and I don't have a brother, but he would have been as closest to a brother as anybody I've been acquainted with through my whole life.
Through it all, he's been a true friend, always been there for me, and someone I consider to be one of my closest friends.
Being inducted into the Alabama Business Hall of Fame is extremely humbling to me, particularly the fact that my father and my uncle, Joe Bruno, have been previously inducted. I would also like to recognize and congratulate my fellow inductees tonight for their tremendous accomplishments. I would also like to thank my mom and my sister and my brothers for their tremendous support over the years.
Above all, my father has taught me to be proud of where I'm from, no matter where life takes me. Tonight, I've never been prouder than my home state of Alabama, the city of Birmingham, and my alma mater, the University of Alabama. So Dad, congratulations on this extraordinary honor, and thank you for all that you've done to bring national recognition to the places that we call home.
I remember a couple months after we sold Bruno's, I was having lunch with my mom, and I asked her, I said, do you think that Dad would have sold Bruno's? And she said, yes, I think he would have sold it, but I think he would have sold it earlier and gotten more money. I said, gee, thanks, Mom.